Okay, welcome. I'm so excited to chat.
Sweet. Me too.
So what's that?
I'm saying me too. Because like
Okay.
like I said, like all my interviews have always been so rushed, and I'm like, we're always like having to perform and like be our most witty selves and be our most interesting selves for people to consume and enjoy a clip in like 15 seconds. So
Yeah.
it's nice.
No, we have time. We got time. So I'm really
hmm
curious, like when it comes to getting on the show, like I don't know if that
hmm
grades in with the manifestation stuff that you were talking about earlier, but
Yes, it
like
definitely
how did
does.
you even come to be on Below Deck?
Oh my God. It's such a it's such a story. Um, so it was right after my boyfriend had passed. Literally, he passed in September 2023. And by November 2023, I was like, maybe I'll do this. And what kind of happened was like I lived with a bunch of people that were captains, that were dive instructors. We were all in the nautical business. And they kept sending me like different job requests. They kept sending me different job applications because um I was having a really hard time getting back into scuba diving. Like I knew I needed to keep working for myself, but because he had passed away underwater, I had such a hard time returning to scuba diving. Like I tried. Like I literally went to the dive shop that day and I tried being a dive master. And I set up the boat so slow because I was trying to hold myself from crying that I couldn't get the job done. And I was like, guys, I can't work. I'm so sorry. Like I have to leave. Um,
So is
so
that
my
what
friend,
you did before? Were
yeah,
you?
I was a dive instructor
Oh, okay, okay.
before I even touched yachts. And the beauty about where I was dive instructing in Fort Lauderdale is it's so connected to the yacht industry that if you know people within any boat, they're like throwing jobs at you because there's so much to do within Fort Lauderdale. So yeah, dive instructing wasn't going too great because it was just like it was really hard for me to do
Hmm.
emotionally. And I had a friend who just like was sending me job applications. And I think you know how our phones listen to us? A below
Yeah.
deck yeah, a below deck ad had come up on his phone. Um, because he was literally just like a party boat captain at the time. And one of the little sisters of like one of the major producers on board had been like, yeah, like my brother does like below deck, like whatever his producer. And yeah, so like an ad pops up later and he sends it to me. And I had never watched the show. Like I have heard about the show. Working on a party boat myself, we had to
You
give
hadn't
like
watched it?
I've never watched it, no. So working on a party boat myself and being in Fort Lauderdale, we're surrounded by yachts. So people are always like, ooh, below deck, like, do you know that show? And I'm like, nah, like I don't watch reality TV. Like I would never, like reality TV is not my thing. And I just thought it was silly.
That's so funny.
It's so ironic because I'm so okay. I'm so not into reality TV. But so anyways, he sends it to me and I was just like, huh, I never thought about TV. My only TV experience is telling my mom that I wanted to try out to be an actress, like when I was like 6 or like 5. And she took me to Miami and like they handed me a script. And they're like, all right, kid, like whenever you're ready, go. And I was like, I can't do it. And they're like, why? And I was like, I don't know how to read this. I don't know, it wasn't good. So
That
can't
was a
act for shit.
short-lived career.
Yeah, it was a short-lived career. I can't act for shit. So yeah, he gave it to me and I was just like, I think I took the life is too short
Oh.
so literal. I was like, my
Mm.
boyfriend just passed away. Like life is so short. I'm like, fuck it. Why? What do I have to lose? Like, why not? And I just thought like I needed some big distraction. Like I needed
Okay, yeah.
something crazy to look forward to because the grief that was holding me at the moment was so heavy and so difficult. I was like, I just need something to be excited about for life.
Mm.
And so I was like, maybe this could be it. And so, according to everyone else in the show, you kind of get asked, like, there's a casting process where, like, people will find you through Instagram, they'll, look like a yachty, and they're like, hey, like, would you be interested in Below Deck? No, 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 no. I'm the only nerd who tried out. I'm the only one who was like, hi, my name's V. Like, here's some photos of me. Here's my application.
You're like
Can I
knocking out the
try out?
window. Hi.
I'm like, can I try out for your show?
which
Yeah.
is kind of ironic because you like hadn't watched it
Yeah,
before.
I mean, at that point, I was like, I watched it and I was like, I think I could do that. Like, that's fine. The
Oh,
problem
okay.
is, I didn't have any super yacht experience. I had my biggest yacht experience at the time was like 60 feet as like a deck stew and day charters. And if you know anything about boating, like day charters to overnight, like multiple day charters are very different in the things that you have to do. So I was used to having guests for 4 hours and then spitting them back out in the world and never seeing them again. It was different.
Gotcha. And it
Yeah.
kind of felt like I feel like typically on Below Deck they'll purposely cast people that don't have experience to kind of
Hmm.
incite drama. And it felt like they've done this in the past where they've like cast someone who doesn't have much experience and then they sorry, I think it froze. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. It's sometimes the Wi-Fi drops out. But yeah, I can hear
Okay. And then that person actually does really good, and I feel like it
you.
foils their plans a little. And I feel like maybe that was the case with you, where they're like, "Oh, she doesn't have
Yeah.
that much experience," but then you like slayed
Yeah.
the interior, and then you went on the deck team, and it was
Yeah.
like,
You're like, dang, she's a fast learner and she works her ass off. Fuck.
so how was that for you, arriving on the boat and being like living in such close quarters with people, and then
Hmm.
being back on the job, like back on boats, back in,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was, I mean, they told me they're like, it's gonna be a lot of work. And I was like, yeah, but I've been a party boat captain and a bartender at the same time where I've had like, 15-hour days. I was like, I got it. I got it. They're like, no, this is different. So it's okay. It was as exhausting as they said it would be. And there's this whole other aspect of how exhausting it is because you have a camera on you. So like I think subconsciously we put more pressure on ourselves and we overthink because there's a whole added layer of like, all right, someone's going to consume this content and they're going to judge your entire performance and who you are as a person based on 45 minutes of clip a week. Um, so I was really in my head of like, oh my God, I gotta be like my best self. And I feel like I didn't fully allow myself to be me. Like I feel like I'm a really weird person outside of the show. So there's like lots of parts I felt like I held back because I was worried about like how my family was gonna feel, like how the public was gonna take me. And then also my biggest fear ever was like getting fired. Cause that's like the most that's like
Yeah. By Captain Sandy
just
too,
like
that would be
yeah,
tough.
like reality suicide. I was like, no.
Hmm.
I was so afraid of being fired. So I was like, I have to be, my best behavior and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's really interesting too to think of the added layer of the cameras being on you and like
Hmm.
constantly being watched and surveyed,
Yeah,
witnessed, and then
because
knowing that like this is an international sh I literally could never do reality
yeah.
TV because even the thought of that, like
Hmm.
I don't need people to see me at my
Because
worst.
the whole time I'm thinking about like my biggest thing is they can edit it however they want, right? You sign your contract and they can edit it however you want. And I was like, well, the only power I hold within my hands is I say whatever I want. And I was like, we're gonna just take that willpower really serious, and I'm gonna make sure I don't say anything I don't trust in myself and anything that I feel is really stupid. So we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because one of my questions, I have a group chat with two of my best friends who watch, we're like obsessed with Below Deck. And I was like,
Mm.
oh my guys, I'm interviewing V. Is there anything that you think I should ask her? And one of my friends sent this really like profound question. I'll ask
Oh
you later.
yes, love
It was
that.
so good. And then one of my friends said, how are you able to not go off on them? LOL.
No, I did. So here's the thing. You don't see it. I mean, it's kind of implied that day, but I had a day where I mentally broke down. I physically lost my touch with reality. Like it was really scary. And it was the day where I had told Captain Sandy that like, hey, like the 1 year anniversary of my boyfriend's death is coming, and I was overwhelmed with being sick, and I just wasn't feeling good, and I was just stressed from like being new on deck and being like, all right, I gotta kill this because now I'm new to a completely different team.
Mm,
I had a moment where I literally lost touch with reality, and I was scared. Like I was like, oh, I've never been like this before. And they were like, go take as much time as you want. And like for me, I was like, oh no, like I can't be seen as lazy, I can't be seen as weak, like being the only female on the deck team. And I kept trying to come up for my breaks, like I'd break for an hour and then I'd be like, okay, I'm good to go. And they're like, no, no, like go back, like you're not good to go. And I wasn't.
Who was telling you to go back, Nathan, or was it
Nate, it was Nathan. Yeah.
bless
He
his
kept being
heart?
like, yeah, I was like, V, go back to sleep. Like you can't be on deck right now. I was like, okay.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it
That's
was
really nice.
no, dude, I'm so glad he said that because I needed that so bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's also really nice they didn't air that. Like, I kind of am curious why. Like, not that you would know.
Yeah, that conversation.
No.
I think it's because, I mean, there's a whole psychology aspect of the show. It's like you do have people who like mentally break down. You do have people who are like, I want to quit. Like, I can't do this anymore. And the producer's like,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. Like, just take a breath. Like, we have like an on-hand therapist. We have someone like we have an HR person that we have to check in with each week to mentally make sure we're still good to keep going
Thank
because
God.
it's so
I'm
stressful.
so
Yeah.
glad to hear that. Because, yeah,
Yeah,
you
no, it's
guys,
good.
yeah, that's good. That's good. Because you guys do work really
Mhm.
hard and, like, it's just seems like a really intense job.
I
Um,
have a housekeeping question.
yeah, tell me.
Can I put on a hat? Because I feel like my hair looks crazy. But
Yeah,
also the hat is yacht
absolutely.
related. I think it's
I can
cute.
edit this, so.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, oh, I don't want you to have like parts with the hat on, parts with the hat off. I
Oh
was like,
no, it's
oh, it'd
fine.
be bad. Okay.
Continuity, I don't care.
Okay, cool. Let me grab it real quick.
Yeah, take your time.
Also, I feel like it's like perfect for
Oh, that's cute.
vacation.
I like big
This
yachts.
is I like big yachts.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the question that my friend sent because so
Yes,
you
I love that.
mentioned wanting to talk about grief, which I think is really cool that you
Hmm.
are open to talking about that.
Yeah.
So my friend, this is my friend Melissa. She said, I'm just gonna read the message verbatim because
Mm.
it's so good. She said, I have a lot of gratitude for V enough to share her grieving journey. Having experienced the same slash similar kind of loss and having the same slash similar kind of physical symptoms at the 1 year anniversary of death, it really helped me understand my own experience through watching hers. I
Wow.
would mostly want to hear about the physical symptoms she experienced at the 1 year anniversary of his death. We see her having a sinus infection, and I thought it was really interesting that is excess fluid in your sinuses similar to when he drowned? There would have been excess fluid in the sinuses. I want to know if she realized that at the time or any point after. And then she said, also would love to hear from the somatic perspective about why or how that happens in the body.
Wow, that is the coolest and the best question I've ever gotten. Please
Yeah.
tell her thank you for just the most amazing. Yeah, wow. And I'm so excited that I get to explain this because,
Yeah.
and I feel like this is the part of healing that people forget about is how intelligent the body is when it comes to remembering physical or mental trauma. It is so intelligent. And the thing is,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a person where I've become really in tune with my body. Like I'm very good at reading anything I feel, any anxiety, I'm very good at dialing in, like seeing where it comes from and then being like, okay, I have no reason to like have anxiety because it comes from this.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so that like it was during, and they show it, but they don't quite show it because it's hard to explain. Um, but the reason why I was having those symptoms on the show, and I didn't even realize it until while I was crying on the show, is there's this part where I'm talking to Joe and I'm like, like all all stuffy and saying I have a sinus infection, and I was like, yeah, Joe, when Bond's 6 month anniversary had passed, I had these same symptoms, and what it was is I was in a situation where I was trying to hold back from like having a really deep cry, and I always say that like if you're sad, like let that shit out, like cry as much as you want because I truly believe in the energy and the fact that kind of energy isn't created nor destroyed, it's simply transferred. So if you have all this emotional energy that your body's producing, it's just
Hmm.
marinating inside of you. It has to come out at some point,
Yeah.
or else it kind of just tumbles into like a bigger bomb and then it's hard to manage. So for me, what I realized, all that head pressure in my face. I mean, also like the physical sickness is like, I don't know, I have this weird thing where like usually around my birthday I do get sick. But I think because my body was so stressed and you're such close quarters, it is easy to get like a pick up a bacteria and get sick.
Mhm.
But on top of that, I had this insane head pressure. And what I realized when relating it back to 6 months is that when I don't allow myself to have a really deep, full cry, a lot of pressure builds up in my face, literally my sinuses. And because I was on a show where I couldn't release fully in the way that
Mm.
I would need to, I was experiencing that problem. So when I went to sob and cry in Kathy's like arms, that was when I started to feel that release, and it really helped. But also, I didn't really get that full release until months after the show. But when I was sick and they took me off the charter, I got to be alone in a hotel room and I got to like fully cry as much as I want, and that was super helpful. Like literally sleeping and crying as much as I wanted helped me to bounce back within like 2 days.
That's
So.
the dream. Honestly, when you're grieving,
Just let me
is
cry as much as I want.
just let me cry and sleep,
Yeah,
please.
and so I feel like for my healing, it's come from fully experiencing emotions. I feel like people are afraid of their emotions because they're really strong and they're really intimidating, they're daunting. But for me, I've always been told to like really experience my emotions. So, and that was the perspective I was raised with. So when grieving Bond, like literally being allowed to just be alone and like cry on my floor, like physically immobile, was the most healing thing ever because I got to process him so much more intensely, the fact that he wasn't here, that I
Mm.
think I almost hacked the healing process. I feel like I really sped it up because I felt so much. And I think having so much emotional endurance from other traumas is what led me to being able to handle this one. So
Mm.
that was
Oh,
great.
that makes sense.
Not great, but like it was helpful to have that.
I'm really glad they like took you off the boat so that you
Yeah,
have the
I
space.
think
Yeah.
I think production was, I mean, like it was great for them because they could insert Gale, so it was perfect timing. But also,
Mm.
I genuinely feel like part of them had a human moment where they're like, they felt really bad. They're like, I don't think we could keep this girl, like they've never seen anything like that. I don't think they could like keep someone on the show. And it was never part of the original plan. I'm just really thankful I got sick that day.
I
Like
know that was kind of lucky.
it really worked out. I'm like, oh, fucking Bond like blew some like little infection at me. He was like, get sick. And I was like, "Mm,
So you
thank
had
you."
the same, yeah, thank you, Vaughn, for the sinus infection, for the little mini vacation. So you had
Yeah.
the same thing at the 6 months too?
Yeah, it did. And it was, and it's so weird because like I had such a hard time trying to figure out like what was all this pressure in my face. And it was from being like, okay, like 6 months have passed, like I'm being really strong, like I'm not
Yeah,
crying as
yeah.
much as in the beginning, but everything's still like really sad. Um, and yeah, it was that needing to have a really, really strong emotional release.
It is crazy how the body
Yeah.
remembers like trauma-versaries. It is really wild. And it is kind of
Yeah.
crazy how you can be like, okay, like I just had a 1 year of something that happened last year. And I was
Hmm.
like, I'm really strong. I have all this support from my friends, my therapist. I was like journaling. I'm like, it's fine. And then the day came and I was
Yeah.
like crying in the show.
It's
Like
it's
it gets you.
it's
Like
the day
you,
of. Yeah.
yeah, you can't
Yeah.
you can't like hack grief, I feel. You know what I
You
mean? Like
can.
grief like meets you.
Hmm. You have fully experienced grief at its
Yeah.
pace. No.
Yes. At its pace, which is like really
Yeah,
inconvenient
it
typically.
is.
Like
Yeah.
I'm fucking working. You really have to come right now?
Yeah,
I'm
like
on
I'm
a
doing
show.
important shit right now. Yeah.
I'm
No,
trying to be
definitely.
on a reality show, grief. Like just
Yeah.
um
Honestly, like my birthday on the show was so much easier than the birthday after the show. Um, like obviously while the season, we filmed and then we had to edit it for a year. So when the season actually came out in September 29th, I had my birthday like right before the season released. That was the most difficult birthday yet. I mean, the one where the day I lost him, like obviously that was the hardest one, but the one after the show was specifically so much more difficult because I was like, oh, I don't have to put on face for camera. I'm home where it happens, and I'm fully allowed to experience my emotions here. And that one was difficult because I was working on a yacht. And so I had the physical reminder of what it felt like to be stuck on a yacht. So I had like lots of anxiety working on this new yacht that I had. And all of August, I was really, really like freaking out about September for a month. And then September
Hmm.
arrived and I was like, on that day, I was like, I'm not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But I think
wonder,
next birthday, like I got it. I think I got it next
yeah,
birthday.
next year, next September, better watch out.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're doing next year for your birthday? You got to do something like fun, right?
Oh, definitely. I feel like next year is like when I really take everything.
Next year, the grief won't get me,
Next year is
baby.
fucking mine. Um, well, I just got a visa to move to Australia. So
Oh, that's exciting.
maybe I'll be in Australia still. We'll see. Probably. And yeah, who knows?
Nice. You gonna go see Captain Jason in
You
Australia?
know what? I've chatted to him. I mean, he lives in Indonesia, but I've chatted to him and I was like,
Oh,
hey, I'm gonna be in Oz. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna be in Oz at the same time. And he's actually doing something very similar to like what I'm doing with something I just launched, which is like the whole sexy sustainability thing.
oh yeah.
He's doing like a very similar thing where he's like traveling and interviewing people and doing his own production of all that. So I was like, oh, what if we did one together? That'd be fun.
That's super
But
cool.
Gail and Nathan's also in Sydney. Like I'm gonna go visit them. Josh is in Melbourne. So there's tons like there's so many people within Oz that I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to see them.
That's cute.
Hmm.
And regarding like kind of going back to the 1 year that you had on the boat, I have this
Yeah.
note of I was so impressed watching you communicate to everyone and especially Joe saying like, "Hey, I'm coming up on this 1 year. I
Hmm.
my body had these symptoms at the 6 month. I might have XYZ." Um,
Yeah.
I feel like that was such exquisite communication to like even
Hmm.
have that body awareness and then to
Yeah.
be able to communicate it in such a clear way that you weren't like putting it on anyone. You were like, this is what might happen for me just to make you aware.
Yeah.
So, like, what tips would you have for people that are coming up on traumaversaries and one, supporting their body through it,
Mm.
and then also communicating that to the people in their life? Because that can be really hard to like I think sometimes I know for myself, there's been like shame around traumaversaries where I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't want to be weak. Like like you said, like I really want to be this like strong person. But then what
Hmm.
happens when I break down and the people in my life are like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. And
Hmm.
thank you for that's such a gorgeous question. Thank you for noticing that. Um, I think obviously the best advice I can give is to be honest with to be honest with yourself and then also be open to communication. I think a lot of times when people have these strong emotions, they shut down and they want to hide because like no one wants to cry in front of other people. It's a really intimate moment. Um, you should take that day however you feel like it best supports your needs. So if you prefer to be like a little bit more avoidant and you want to just be around family and friends that know about that about you and just be surrounded by them, be surrounded by them. If you want to experience yourself a bit more and like let yourself have that release, then it's good to set aside a time the day of or like what I honestly do because my birthday's been ruined. It's not ruined and I joke about that, but
Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing.
you're good. Laugh as much as you want. Dark humor is my key to getting like to
Yeah,
pushing through
there.
everything. I love dark humor. But for my birthday, like I couldn't celebrate my birthday the day of. So what I did is I let myself cry and experience and journal as much as I wanted the day before. Because when the day was approaching, I was like, oh, I have no idea like how I'm supposed to feel on this day. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. And I had asked the therapist from this show, because we have a show therapist, and I said, what am I meant to do? And they're like, just write out whatever you feel like. Don't put any expectations, don't put any disappointments on it. Just however you want to fully relax that day, fully relax that day. Don't put any expectations. So I was like, okay. So I would say find the support system that's gonna best suit your need for that day. And then have no shame about it. You are like whatever you're going through is your journey and you're allowed to go at your own pace. There's no shame in having a human experience and just trying to navigate it as best as you can. Everyone's just a human that's like, I've never experienced this before. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. And there's something I think really beautiful about that and something that's gonna like make you really strong one day. And I think there should be a certain sense of not shame, but pride of like just experiencing something really hard and knowing that one day it's gonna become part of you and you're gonna be out on the other side of it and you're gonna be like, I did that. And that will forever be part of you. Yeah.
Mm.
I guess that's the best advice I could give. I'm not sure if it was a good one, but
No, it's good. And I feel like grief is really interesting because it's like you talk about this a lot in the way that you talk about Bond of like he's always with me and like
hmm
and then the clip at the end, I mean I have a note on this clip later, but when you were like telling Joe off and you're like he's like talking to you on the bow of the boat and you
Yeah.
go save it. And then there's a talking head of you going, I didn't have the most like amazing love from this guy just for him to
hmm
die and then not
Yeah.
uphold that standard. And I was like,
Yeah.
fucking damn. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just curious, like, because you really carry it with you. And I'm just
hmm
curious if you can speak to that, like that.
Yeah. Watching that episode for the first time and seeing the original conversation where Joe's like, "Hey, I messed up," and I just like brush it off. I was like, "V, like, how could you? Like, you idiot! Like, you look like you don't have standards." I was like, "No." And then that conversation came up, and I just didn't know how they were gonna edit it. So when I was like, "Save it," I was like, "Ooh!"
Me too, girl.
Yeah, I
I was like
surprised
fist pumping.
I surprised myself. My mom and I were freaking out. We're like, yes, bitch, you said that. Okay. So yeah, I was so proud. And like that's the thing. It's funny. I didn't even remember that I said that. And then when I heard myself say back that why would I let a man die and accept anything less than to be an insult to him, I was just like, that's I like had a moment where I taught myself something, like I reminded myself of something that I learned. And I was like, yeah, why should we accept anything less? If I always say, like, people who don't accept really great love for themselves, I'm like, think about the person that you love the most in your life and think about, would you give them anything less? And if you wouldn't, then why would you give yourself anything less? You should give yourself the most love you possibly can, the highest standard you possibly can, because you're deserving of it. And everyone's deserving of having someone that respects them and treats them right. And like, yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah, it seems like it's really beautiful because like some people like it's just beautiful that you've experienced that and that you carry that with you.
yeah. Well, for me, I'm like, yes, I have a really sad story, but I think the best part of healing is finding gratitude in things and changing your perspective. And I'm like so incredibly proud and grateful that I met Bond because I just think like I have I just have this incredible love for this man. Like till this day, like I love this man so much and I always will. And I'm like, well, if I love someone so much, I'm like always going to be deserving of that. And I would never settle for anything less because I miss that love so much. And I feel like finding one that's not similar, but like just strong and beautiful and respectful in its own way is the biggest honor I can give him. Like you've passed, the best way I could honor you is by letting you know that I'm in a safe place where I'm going to be loved and it's going to be by someone who really deserves me, you know? Like, I don't know, if I
Preach
was
it,
passed and if
girl.
I was dead, yeah, if I was dead, I'd want to make sure my partner found love again and was happy and found it with someone that really deserves to have my partner, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything else that you want to say about grief that you feel like you haven't been able to share?
Hmm. I, yeah, I mean, I kind of said on my Instagram because a lot of people ask me about it, but I'm, I think a lot of people are afraid to experience gratitude while grieving because there's these five stages of grief, right? And one of them is guilt. And and guilt ate at me for a while because you feel like something crazy, something so tragic has happened. Like you feel really guilty to experience any sort of like happiness for a moment or just to forget about it for a moment. You're like, oh my God,
Mhm.
my person died. I have to be sad all the time. And I I want people to know that if they really stick with it and take the time to understand themselves, that you'll hopefully hit a point of your grief journey. And everyone's different, and maybe they don't experience this. But for me, the experience that I had was I'm so grateful for him being here, and I'm so grateful for him not being here. And I think a lot of people are really scared to recognize that juxtaposition. And it's never saying that like one replaces the other. Like I would never if I can have Bond back, I would love to have him back. But the way that my life has changed and the lessons that grief has taught me are so valuable that I'm grateful that he's not here. Like so much, there's so many things that him not being here has taught me, and they almost, I mean, like he's been gone as long as I've known him. So I've known him for 3 years, and he's been gone for nearly 3 years, right? So there's just so much I've learned from him not being here, and for me, that's like I'm incredibly grateful for those lessons. Like I don't know. I'm just in such a weird place of grief where I don't quite cry about it anymore in the way that I'm like, fuck man, this really sucks. Like I really miss him. And I do, and I really do miss him. But I more cry about him and it's like such a sweet, soft way now where I'm like, man, I'm so grateful I got to experience such love. And I'm like, I love that man so much. Like then I just sit there and I think about like the love we had between each other and I'm like, wow, like I'm so lucky. like like stupid lucky. The fact that I was so young and I got to experience something so
Sorry,
beautiful and
girl.
so
It's like
intense.
something's happening over here.
No, it's okay. Like I get emotional about it too. I'm like, and that's my favorite part about grief is it's this beautiful reminder of how grateful I get to be constantly that I love the man so much.
Sorry, I don't
Yeah.
know why that got.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But like I don't know, I have this weird obsession with being so grateful for death. It's so weird. Oh, it's like the Grateful Dead. Like I don't know, maybe that's where the name comes from.
Um,
But
I hear it
yeah.
though. Like I hear you, and like I think the lessons of grief are really. I didn't think I was gonna cry on this thing. The lessons of grief are really profound, and there's a lot of like value in it, and that is the
Mhm.
juxtaposition of like, oh, like it's like when you come from a funeral and then you notice, oh my God, there's like birds chirping and everything is so green and like, it's the
Yeah.
juxtaposition of like, I don't know, death with life and yeah.
Yeah, it makes you look at life so differently. Like I promise you, I wake up every morning and I'm like I got another day. Like let's fucking do this. Like I literally have a moment where I thank the universe. I'm like, thank you so much for another day. And every night before I go to bed too, I'm like, I think about my day and anything could have happened. Like I could have like the worst day. And I'll sit there and I'll be like, thank you so much for the experiences I had today because no matter what emotion I experienced today, it taught me something and I'm really grateful for that. Like I can have the shit I've had really shit things happen to me and at the end of the day I try to have that perspective of gratitude because I think it really teaches you to take a moment and understand and dissect what you've been through and been like, okay, like I'll make terms with it, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, I'm gonna like, God, I gotta, I'm gonna change gears a little bit just so that we can cover everything before we like get
Mhm.
closer to the end. But thank you for sharing everything on grief because I think it's something that's like
Of course.
very a lot of people feel, and it's also this really taboo thing that people get really weird and
Yeah, no
like
one wants to talk about
uncomfortable
it.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
people don't like to talk about it, and so I think that really speaks to people that you brought that to international TV show like front and center.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thank you for talking about it.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. So we're going in a
No,
different
no worries.
direction.
Yeah.
So when it came to the whole thing with Joe and Kizzy, and it's like I'm
Mhm.
not gonna go too much into it because to be honest, that whole situation was kind of gross. Like
Yeah.
that season was really hard to watch for me. Like
Mm.
it was a tough watch, I feel, that whole
Yeah.
situation. And as like I've been cheated on quite a lot, quite a lot. I've been cheated
Mm.
on a few times in my past relationships,
Girl, I'm
and
so sorry.
it's the worst.
That's
Well,
rough.
not the
Yeah, it is the
worst.
worst.
Things could be worse, but life could be worse.
Yeah, it's
But it's
okay.
yeah, not great. But it wasn't, I wouldn't say it wasn't cheating what happened, but it wasn't
Hmm.
not cheating what happened.
Regardless, at the end of the day, it doesn't feel good. You
It
deserve the
wouldn't
best, so it's
it
like,
didn't feel good. It didn't look
hmm
good. And it was like tough for me to watch as a viewer. I
mm,
will say like part of that experience for me has always involved third parties that kind of like watch what happens and people don't want to say
hmm
anything because it's like, oh, but they're my friend or like,
yeah,
oh, it's my family, like I don't want them to feel bad or whatever. And
hmm
seeing Nathan like really step in was
hmm
so healing for me to watch, honestly, and like see
wow,
someone be so proactive and like
hmm
really taking a stand against the behavior that was happening that was truly just
hmm
disgusting behavior
yeah,
in my opinion was incredible. So my
hmm
question is like when it came to him kind of being in your corner with this the cigarette thing when you took your smoke break and then when you were like on the raft, you know, and he came and checked in.
yeah.
And then also when he was in the dorm with Joe and he like got so aggressive and he said, you
Which
know,
is funny
this
because
is
I didn't even know about that until it aired. I was like, dang, like he really had my back like
he
that.
fucking had your
He
back.
had
Like
my back. Yeah.
what was that like to be in that situation where there's people, and by people I mean like Joe and Kizzy saying like, oh, like
Mm-hmm.
this, she's making this a big deal, like blah blah blah, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a bit of gaslighting that felt like it was happening, and then have
Yeah.
someone come in so hard with the
hmm
reality of like this is what's happening and this is not okay. Like what was that like
Yeah.
for you to have that kind of support?
Coming back was so awkward because you see me like I'm so cheerful and I have no fucking I had like this idea because I pick up on like shift of energy really easily. I was like something's off, but I didn't know what it was. Um, but it's so awkward because you have the whole boat, my whole crew. They're pretty cohesive on board. Like when we had nights out, when we had things like that, like we were actually got along great. We all were like, yeah, we were all pretty good. Um, so to come back on board, and I think it's something so awkward, so weird. The timing was so poor that like no one even knows where to begin. And it's also like the extra level layer that like no one wants to be involved with drama. Like Kathy's dad just died. Like no one wants to be involved with drama. Like it's such a weird vibe on board. Um, so I understand why no one really came to me, and I think everyone was like, "All right, well, this is Kizzy and Joe's problem, so like they gotta deal with it." But looking back, like even Joe or not Joe, even Josh, like watching that back, he's like, "Listen, I had no," and he apologized to me, and he was like, "Listen, I had no idea that you were going through like that many things with Joe and Kizzy," and I was like, "Oh, I appreciate that."
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
really
don't think
nice.
anyone ever really quite knew like the ins and outs of how awkward that was for me. Um, but to have Nathan, like, cause I never finished watching season 9. I watched some of it. So I had a good understanding of like him and Joe's friendship. Like I knew they were like tight. And to like to have a man standing up for me to another man. And like they're like Joe and Nathan, like they're like kiddos. Like they're really mature. They're like, they got that fuckboy element to them. To have
Yeah.
Nathan stand up for me to his friend, because listen, a lot of friends will not check on their friends. Like they'll let shit slide because they're like, oh, they're my friends. Like, yeah, he cheated on that girl, whatever. But like things like that. Um, so to have him be so strong and there for me, I was not expecting it. And I think part of it was like he saw me as a little sister, and part of it was because I'm on his team, and then part of it is like it was really fucked up. Like
Yeah.
the timing of it all was really fucked up, and it's like
The
I
timing was like evil. Actually fucking evil.
I know, I bet the
Like,
producers were like, we cooked with this
oh,
one. Like we know.
overcooking
Like the timing was crazy.
was
Um
actually fucking wild.
yeah, and like when I was crying on the Naughty Boys, like and at the swim plat,
Yeah.
I didn't think anyone knew I was there. I was really trying to hide from protection. I was like, nobody come to me. Like, and it wasn't like I wasn't crying over Joe or anything. I had a moment where, like how we talked about the body kind of recognizing itself. I had a moment where I lacked appetite, and that triggered something inside of me where after Bond had died, like I lost weight, like I had no appetite, I couldn't eat anything, and so like having that memory, being so close to my like the birthday had already passed, but also like just remembering how it felt to like not want to eat. I went to go cry in a swim plat, and I was like, man, I'm so stressed. Like I'm re-experiencing everything with Bond. Like I got this fuck ass weird awkward situation with Joe and Kizzy on board. I was like, there's so much going on in my head. Like what the fuck? So when Nathan hugged me, I really needed that. Like I really needed
Mm.
someone to hold me. Um, and I think it felt so much like safer that it was a man holding me because I was having big problems with another man. So the fact that this man cared, I was like, okay, not everyone's bad, you know,
Yes.
not everyone's
That's
bad.
really what I got from that. Was I like, oh, not
Yeah,
everyone's bad.
yeah,
Like
not everyone's
relief.
bad.
And the way that he went
Yeah,
at Joe, how he was like, I'll take you right
yeah,
now with his accent. I
yeah.
was
I
like,
was like, it's so funny because reading through the Reddit comments, people were like, I've never seen that side of Nathan, but it's really
suddenly
that was
people
the
are like,
funny.
oh wait,
People were
okay.
like, oh, okay,
Oh
yell
damn.
at me, you know? Yeah,
I mean, I think it is like you have to have balls to stand up to a friend at all, and then to stand up to
you
them with
do.
that much conviction and to
Yeah. Well, because
like
like Nathan had said it like 3 times already, and he's like, "Do you have to beat some sense into you? Like, what is this?" And like, I don't know. Like, I'll say like violence isn't an answer just to be safe here, but it's something you can't beat any sense into a person like that. Like, they have to want to change for themselves and realize it's at their benefit that they should alter their behavior, the way they interact with women, perhaps, the way they treat women. I think there's something really kind of red flag about men who are like, oh, I have so much respect for women. Like, I love my mom so much. I love my sister. I think that is almost their cover story for any time they mistreat a woman in real life. They go back to like, oh, but I love the immediate woman in my family so much. I'm like, well, loving like the most important woman isn't loving all women. Like, you should still be respecting all women. So remember that. Because I think a lot of fuckboys out here will be like, I respect so much woman, and then like completely fuck you over, not respect you at all, and then be like, but I love my mom, so it's okay.
I spent a lot of time screaming at the TV this season because there was like a moment where
Too.
he's like, things aren't that serious with Victoria. And then I'm like, were you not crying to your mom on the phone, babe? Like literally two
Yeah.
episodes ago? Like I'm getting psychosis from this fucking situation and I wasn't even in it. Like that was crazy.
I
You
mean, it
handled
was
it
such a
so
confusing
well.
time in my thank you.
Oh my God,
Looking back, there's some times where I'm like, I wish I would have yelled at someone, but I was like, these are people like yelling at them doesn't do any good. They're not gonna be receptive to that. Like, you just have
I
to be like, you know?
That no, yes, I really felt that too, and I feel like I have like a note on this too, is because a lot of I don't know if you had a look at my stuff, but a lot of my work is like
Mhm.
unfawning work, healing from people pleasing,
Yeah.
and work, which is like how
Yeah, and I'm a big people pleaser. Like it's so bad. I'm actually working on like taking that apart so I
I
can.
don't know. I saw a little bit villain in you on the show, but in like a really like when you said save it, I was like, yeah, that's my girl. I did feel like you were villainized by Joe and Kizzy.
Yeah, I was so
Like,
ga and you know what? At the moment, I didn't even realize like how bad it was. But watching it back, I was like, I was so gaslighted. Like
yeah.
gaslighting was real. You're fucking crazy. Like that's how I felt. I was being
No,
treated.
it was crazy. And I what you said about them not being receptive to being yelled at, like just
Yeah.
seeing the kind of person that Kizzy is and maybe Joe too, it almost seems like that would have fed them because they it really at a certain point
Hmm.
it was like the whole thing felt like a show for you and like feeding into that kind of like giving that attention, I feel like is
Hmm.
exactly what is wanted in that situation.
Yeah, I
So
feel like
you handled that really well.
Yeah, I feel like it's when you have a sixth grade boy like poking you and be like, haha, I'm poking you to get your attention. And if you react to that and you're like, can you fucking stop poking me? Then they start poking you harder. But eventually if they keep poking at you and I'm like, well, you don't matter, I'm not gonna look at you, then they're like, well, this isn't doing anything for me, I'm gonna stop poking you. That was kind of the idea I was going for, is
It worked.
I was like, for me, I was like, I am above this. Like, this is something so, mm, how would I say? Like, this is just something so low
It's
in,
below me.
it's just below. Yeah, basically, I just felt like it was below me. I was like,
It
I
was,
don't need to
girl.
pay this any attention. Like, I am so much better than reacting at this situation. That's not going to turn into anything after the season. I'm like, this is just for them to get their dicks wet. And I'm like, I'm not gonna, it's fine. Like, get your dicks wet. I'm like, I'm gonna be over here. Don't bother me.
Yeah, and like I'm curious what supported you through that time. Like obviously Nathan was supportive, but like oh,
Mhm.
also I want to know what you were listening to on the Naughty Boy. If you remember. I'm like I need
Yeah,
that
yeah, no,
playlist, that
no,
cry
yeah.
playlist.
It's good. It's a good playlist. So basically, it's this. So Bonnie's name is Bonifacio. And so this it's just this playlist that's called Bonifacio, and it's all these songs that reminded me of him. And like they're the best because like I'll listen to them and like I'll immediately want to cry, and I'm like, oh, this shit's gonna work.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's my cry playlist. It's a playlist called Bonifacio, and it makes me cry every time.
that's so sweet. What was
Yeah, it's a
his
good one.
background? Was is
He
that
was he was
Brazilian?
no, he was Native American.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah. So it's cute. He always he had dreads, and then once he cut his dreads out, he always did braids. But he was like a very proud Apache man. Yeah.
That's so
And
sick.
then yeah, so he's Apache, and then he also has like a French Creole side as well. That's where like his really curly hair comes from. Like he's a
Oh,
mix. But
that's
he
really
has
interesting.
like a significant amount of native blood.
That's cool.
Like he has a look for it too. Like he looks native.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering where he was from when they showed
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are always like, oh, is he Hawaiian? Like, is he Hispanic? Like all his life, because he grew up in Texas, so all his life he was like called Mexican and he's like, I'm native. So he always had a hard time identifying like who to be.
Yeah. Um, excuse me.
Very good. I'm actually gonna
And
blow my nose real quick.
yeah, go ahead. Take your time.
I'm really snotty, so it's just part of
He
it.
was so beautiful too. Like he was like a really good he was a really good looking guy.
Yeah, no, I swear there's something that hurts more, not only when someone dies, but when someone really hot dies.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh my
so
God.
true. It's like, oh, they were so beautiful, Tampa.
It's dude, I think about it all the time where I'm like, why'd you have to be so hot?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because my like, crush in life was Captain Jack Sparrow and Jason Momoa. So when I met Bonnie and when he had dreads and all that stuff, I was like, I was like,
Jackpot.
oh my God, no way, jackpot. And his was oh fuck, what's her name? His was Zoe Kravitz, and I was like, okay.
Oh my God, that's my boyfriend's crush too.
It's every
Like
boyfriend's crush.
what? I get
But
it
Zoe
though. I get
Kravitz is,
it.
I was like, I get it. But like, I was like, listen, Bond, I was like, I like her dad, so it's
Yes.
yeah,
Which is crazy because he doesn't even look old enough to be
he
her dad.
doesn't. But if Zoe Kravitz dad ever needs someone, I volunteer
Yeah,
for the
call
job.
V. She's
Kobe.
free. She's
Yeah.
available. And you mentioned before we started too about like talking about manifestation. I don't really know
Mm,
where you want to go with that, but like
yeah.
I'm all ears because you
Okay.
have created a really interesting life for yourself. So like
Yeah.
yeah, what does that mean for you?
Well, manifestation is like, um, I feel like Bond really taught me that. I mean, I've always had a really positive outlook on life, but I feel like Bond really drilled manifestation into me. And it's interesting because like the very last book he read, like right before he died, is called Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. And it talks about like using manifestation as a key to unlock everything you want, especially like even in healing. Like
Hmm.
he talks about his teachings of meditation and how like there's literally been a woman with cancer and like the work like she was at like the lowest you can get like cancer, her husband committed suicide, like worst financial debt because of all of that, and she literally healed herself through meditation and manifestation. So it's like okay, It could work. Anyways,
Sign me up.
um, so yeah, I was a big believer. I was like, okay, I'm in a weird spot. My boyfriend just died. Every plan we had just fell through. Like, I don't know what I'm meant to do in life. I have no idea. And so where this manifestation plays in is like I truly believe if I didn't manifest below deck, I don't think it would have happened because the odds of me getting in were so slim. What I mean by that is before I even thought about below deck, actually what had happened was I tried out for below deck. They told me that and I'm so glad they denied me the first time. They're like, hey, I think your boyfriend just died. We're filming in February because I was supposed to be in the Australian season, originally. And they're like, hey, your boyfriend just died. We feel like it's a little too soon. And I was like, you're right. Thank you. And I just thought that was the end of it. So when they called me up in May, um, months before they had called me about the med season, I had decided within 5 minutes, I'm going to move to Spain, right? Coincidentally, the show is being filmed in Spain. So
Oh
that worked
shit.
out nicely. But yeah, so I was going to move to Spain to teach English, and part of the visa process is like a 6 month visa process, and everything has to work out perfectly. So when Below Deck called for me, they're like, "Hey, can you commit?" I was like, "I can't fully commit because I have to take care of this visa because I didn't want to do the show and not move to Spain or move
Hmm.
to Spain and not do the show. Like I really wanted both of them to work out, and for them to work out, like everything had to line up perfect. And the problem was all this paperwork. I could submit it all on time, but it's up to the Spanish government to do everything on time. Like literally everything had to line up. And so my
I've
my big
heard they're pretty slow
they're
too.
so slow. And the biggest issue was that I had to surrender my passport to the consulate in Miami to get my Spanish visa. How am I meant to travel and film Below Deck without a passport? Like, that's literally not possible. And so if
Yeah.
I want, and it takes us 4 to 6 weeks to process, and they're so bad at communicating. So like, it would really be by the grace of God of like they finish in time. So it was like, I don't want to take that risk of like submitting my passport and like Below Deck didn't want to fully take me on unless I was like, yeah, like this is all set because they knew the issue. So I literally sat there and I manifested and envisioned everything like lining up perfectly. Um, but it wasn't all the dates that lined up perfectly. I really sat there for a while and I was like, I really want both these things to happen. I kept envisioning both of them to happen and work out. And I was like, how, like, I really wish you. And I was like, how the heck did you guys process visas during COVID? And they're like, well, we had people mail in a notarized copy of their passport and then we would process it and then we would ship out like the visa sticker to you. And I was like, cool. I have to go film in Spain. Can you guys like if I give you a notarized copy of my passport, can you honor that? And they were like, yeah, I guess we could. And I was like, could you really? And then I immediately called Below Deck and I was like the stars have aligned. Like I figured it out. And it like let me tell you, like it took me like 2 months to figure this out. Um, and I was like, I could do the show. And they're like, okay. So yeah. And then I did the show and I came back for literally 6 days and then I moved to Spain.
Oh my
So
God.
it was all like I literally filmed in Barcelona for 6 weeks, came back home and moved to Valencia right afterwards.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
it all worked out. Yeah. And I sat there and I was like, man, I have such incredible opportunities. Like I can move to Spain and not do below deck, or I could do below deck and not move to Spain. And I'm like, well, if one of them happens, that's great. If both of them happen, like that would just be incredible. And I was really like manifesting like that both of them happen, and so many things have so for the show of what I wanted to happen. And I looked back at those things that I manifested and all of them happened. Like I feel like writing something down makes it seals it. Like it makes it real and it makes it more possible. Like you throw it out there into the quantum field, and the quantum field goes, okay, this is a possibility that might exist. We may honor this. And so everything I wrote down for Below Deck happened and I was like like I was so
Damn.
happy that it all kind of worked out. But I think I had a really strong vision and a really like strong trust process within myself that everything would work out.
That's so cool.
So
That
I'm
reminds me, have you heard of the
therefore,
artist?
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, 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 I haven't.
Sorry, I think there's a lag
Ah,
of
my bad.
the Wi-Fi. Um,
Okay.
can you hear me okay? I think it was like being cut
Mm-hmm.
off for a sec. Okay. You haven't heard of The Artist Way? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I
It's
haven't heard
there's
it.
this it's so good. Yeah, I feel like you would like it. It's about like
Mm,
writing, creativity, and stuff like
yeah.
that. But she talks about how manifestation is about praying that you'll catch the bus and then running as fast as you can after it. And that's just like exactly what I feel
Wait,
like you're
I
describing.
love that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly how I feel about it. Yeah, yeah. I listen, I'm so grateful for that tool because I really feel like it changes your life. When because people like to be like, oh, look at all the little girls like who believe in like the numbers and like the science and shit like that. And I'm not super deep into that world, but for manifestation, like I really because I'm a sciencey for I'm like a nerd. Like I love physics and I feel like when you manifest, you tap into the quantum field and you make things possible for yourself because everything is energy, everything is frequency around you, and so are you. So what makes you think you can't tap into that? Like you're made of the same stuff.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
love that
huge
shit.
believer. Yeah, I
I
love
I
it. I love
have
it.
this like delusional feeling that I tell myself I get everything I want.
Yeah,
I
and I
feel
love
like
that.
And I feel like whether or not it's true, it's like that belief of like, oh,
Hmm.
I want this, I'll get it. It's like that feels
Hmm.
so much better in my body than the feeling
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
scarcity.
it does.
You know,
Yeah.
like I feel like, oh, I like the idea of being supported. I feel like that is a really
Hmm.
positive feeling.
Yeah. I'm the same exact way. I'm like I'm almost delusional. Like I'm like I really believe I can manifest anything. Like I really do believe it.
No, I think it's like honestly kind of helpful. I've been thinking about this a lot because
Hmm.
I've just been like looking back in my life and I'm like, if someone were to ask me like, "Oh, how'd you get to where you were?" Like being a little delusional, I think is really necessary. Because
Yeah.
how else are you supposed to go from point A to point
Yeah, I
B?
think that's what makes people like that makes her great people. Like for example, Olympics right now. All those athletes have to be a tiny bit crazy. They're doing things that
Yeah.
are almost aren't humanly possible, and they're still doing them. And it's because they believe they can. Like that's nuts.
Yes. That's a great
That's nuts.
point.
Yeah. See
So if
people
someone
defying
is
odds
like,
all the time.
yeah, completely, like breaking records. I mean, the whole thing too
Yeah.
about like when someone breaks a record, a
Mhm.
world record, that record usually gets broken within like a year or two because then people are like,
Yeah, which
oh, I can go that fast. Oh, I can.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And so
which
if
is
someone's listening
insane.
to this and they're like, oh, I've never been into manifesting or like, where would I even start?
Hmm.
What would you suggest for them?
Step one is writing it down. I think writing it down helps make it real. It helps you, it gives you direction and decides, okay, what do I want? Every time there's like a new year or every time I start a new phase in my life, like right before I decided, oh, I'm just gonna up and move myself to Australia, I always write down what do I want out of this and what do I want to leave behind. So I think writing it down is really important. And also, I think the other part that's really important is envisioning things. Like envisioning helps make it real. If you want something to go successfully, literally get yourself quiet, close your eyes, and slowly envision the whole process. Like you arriving to the place, you talking to the people you need to talk to make things happen. Like every single step, envision it. And that helps make it real too. I think people think manifestation is nerdy and weird. And they're like, oh, it's too hippie. But I think it's our greatest tool, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, even from the perspective of the somatic work, like the body
Mhm.
doesn't, they say the body doesn't know the difference between
It
something
doesn't.
real and imagined. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And we know this
Like,
for a fact because if you think of something scary, your
mhm.
stomach clenches and you're not with a lion, you're not like, there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
And so it's, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I feel
Yeah.
like imagining a reality where you're like, oh, I have access to this. Like
Hmm.
that's gonna do something to your nervous system. I don't
Oh
think it's
yeah.
like woo. It feels woo-woo, I think, like the word manifestation, but I feel like the
Yeah.
science of it is like it's like neuroscience and like nervous system science.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
gotta
because
believe.
you re-experiencing it makes your body makes it feel real. Like all those cute dog by the way. All
Thank
those
you.
yeah, all like re-envisioning it, all the emotions that you experience, like Joe Dispenza in his book, he's really great of like, okay, like what do you want in life? If you want something to be grateful for, like sit there and before even manifesting it, sit there and think about what it feels like to feel gratitude. Like sit there and be quiet and just think about how gratitude feels. If you want to fall in love, sit there and think about what it feels like to be loved. And like I've been trying to really practice those things and see what comes out of it. But I think practicing gratitude in quiet moments has made it so much easier to process everything else. Um, but yeah, the body is silly. Like it doesn't know the difference between your emotion and what's in real life. Like thoughts create feelings and feelings create thoughts. So do with that what you will because however you feel you can navigate that. If you feel like shit and you think the world around you is shit, it will be shit. But if you think like you're smiling, there's like the world's beautiful, like the world can be beautiful. I feel like a lot of people I've met a lot of people who've like lost someone, they're like, man, everything since then has just been horrible, like life sucks. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Life's gonna keep sucking if you think it sucks. Like if you think something good will come out of this, and that's my biggest belief, and I think that's why everything's gone so well. If you think something good's gonna come out of something, it will. Because you have to let it that find you, and you have to also slightly look for it. Like you have to want that for yourself to come towards you.
Yeah, I feel that. What also
Yeah.
came to mind too when you were talking about like the love thing or
Hmm.
like thinking, oh, this is how it would feel to be in love, or this is how it would feel to have my dream job. But then when you're like exploring jobs or exploring dating, then you
Hmm.
really know like this is not what I was
Hmm.
wanting. Like really
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Or
It helps
like
you be so
this
much more
is what I
decisive.
was. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that's really supportive like information.
Hmm.
And
Definitely.
when, like, regarding this or regarding below deck or grief or
Hmm.
anything that we've talked about or anything we haven't talked about, is there anything else that you feel like you've wanted to talk on that you haven't had the chance to speak to?
Hmm. That's a good question. Hmm.
Your time.
I don't know. I just feel like for me, I'm very expressive. So like whenever I have like an epiphany, I'm like, ooh, let me share it on Instagram to see if other people have the same epiphany. Um, I think, I don't know, I guess it's really important to trust the process. And I feel like that's just such basic information, but I feel like trusting the process in that everything will work out and everything that happens is meant to happen is it's something good to surrender to. I feel like people try to surrender things like whether that be through religion or people they look up to. Um, but yeah, I think trusting the process is so important. Like I feel like I trusted the process, but with just a bit of direction, and that really. I mean, it's easy to say like I'm a success story. It's easy to be like, okay, I had like the worst part of my life, and then I went in below deck, and like I'm not gonna lie, I've had the most incredible year, you know. And I recently learned how to kite surf, and that was like the first time I really sucked at something in a while. And I was like, man, I've had such a successful year. I was like, it really threw me on my ass. And I was like, well, that was fun to suck at something for a second. And I was like, well, this shouldn't be the end of kite surfing for me. Like, I still really want to love this. Just need a little bit more practice. And it's okay to just trust the process and be like, all right, I might suck at this, but that's fine. It's something something that Bond taught me, and I think it really helped me get through this is he and I think because he fought in Afghanistan, he was a veteran. So I feel like he really like this was his mantra, is to embrace the suck. Meaning like if something's gonna suck in life, embrace it. Because it's gonna still suck. So might as well ride out with it and be like, okay, like if it's gonna suck, I'm gonna figure out how to just hop on this train and do it the best I can. Like I'm gonna embrace this suck. So that was my biggest mantra getting through anything was like, all right, embrace it. And
Yeah.
almost kind of like Miley Cyrus has this really great thing where she says don't say why me, say try me. And I had to have my moments where I was like, all right, like if it's gonna suck, I'm gonna embrace it, and I'm not gonna keep saying why me. Like I'm gonna be like try me because you cannot break me. Like
Holy
whatever.
crap.
Yeah, I was like whatever. Every time I cried, I was like whatever you throw at me. Like each time I cry, each time I struggle, each time I break down, like I'm only gonna be stronger on the other side of it. So I'm like just keep coming at me. Like
And
I'll
who is
figure it
it that
out.
said that quote?
Don't say why me, say try me.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus?
Miley Cyrus said
Oh
that.
shit.
Yeah,
Okay, no, I
yeah,
I love Miley Cyrus. She's been
yeah.
through a
She's
lot
great.
too.
She's
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's really great. I feel like adversity is part of the human experience. So it's like,
Hmm.
do you lean into it or do you try to
You gotta
pull
lean,
away?
yeah, you gotta lean into it because I really believe like everything happens for a reason. Those are your challenges. You're meant to learn from them, and I feel like they wouldn't be like handed to you if you're not able to handle them. You may not feel like you can handle them all the time, but once you've had enough time to process, you're like, shit, I handled that, and
Yeah.
I'm always afraid. I'm like, there's balance in the universe, so I'm like,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
yeah.
had some traumatic experiences, like what's next? But I think I'm just gonna ride out like everything good for a while because I was like, I deserve this. I deserve to like
Yeah,
chill,
girl.
just enjoy life
Yes.
for a second.
The good times, like, let them
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
I'm just laughing because there's this like meme or something I've seen that says
Mhm.
something like, "Oh, it builds character. I think I have enough character now. Like, leave me
Yeah.
alone. Enough
My
character."
my whole friend group and I, because I was like always the youngest one of like all of Bonnie's friends and all that. And after Bon died, I like got so much funnier because of like this trauma. And they're like, now you understand our humor. And I was like, yeah, just how to have some trauma. Now I get it. Then it's yeah, it's true.
Just gotta be down in the ditch for a little bit, and then yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what
Exactly.
it does.
Yeah. Builds character, man.
It does.
So,
Yeah, it's true. Well, thank you
hmm.
so much for joining me. Like, it's been really fun chatting with you. And
Yeah.
is there any like last little nugget you want to leave people with? Or like, where can people find you? And like, what projects do you have going on? You mentioned.
Oh yeah. So my handle's so complicated, but it's like it's set forever because it's verified now. It's Victoriana Luis, which is like
I'll link
it's
it.
like
I'll link it in the show.
yeah, Victoriana Luis. Um, so my aspirations for right now is to reconnect with all the hobbies I used to have. So like before Bond died, it was like free diving and just being a big ocean girly, like anything ocean. And I had this really weird relationship because obviously he drowned. I was like, I'm really this year I'm really embracing reconnecting with that. And that's part of me moving to Australia is like I want to fall in love with like diving again and free diving and take up different water sports and just like I don't want this fear to hold me forever. Like I need to fall in love
Mm.
with the things I once had. So that was one thing. And the second thing was I have always been a big conservation girly. And so right before Bond died, he had just started a nonprofit um, relating to like conservation and education. And I was like, that was always our dream. That was always my
That's
dream.
so cool.
Yeah, and he never got to finish it. So I was like, well, let me go back to my roots and not trying to copy him, but do something my style and something that feels authentic to me. So I literally just I was like, what would be my dream job? And I was like, my dream job would be kind of to like experience different conservation projects around the world and like communicate that to people because I'm so tired of hearing bad news. Like there's so much bad news.
Hmm.
I'm like, let me celebrate scientists who are doing incredible things. Let me celebrate conservation projects that people have never heard about. And so I started something called Sexy Sustainability. And I haven't watched the first episode yet, but it's basically going to be between Instagram and a little bit of YouTube. But it's the idea that we're making conservation hot again because I think sustainability should be more celebrated. So I'm
Hmm.
excited to see where that takes me. I think it's fun that a lot of people have been tagging Robert Irwin, which I'm not mad about. Yeah,
Oh my God. Did you see him
yeah,
on,
because that
wait,
was
did you see him on Dancing with the Stars? He was so good and so
oh god.
hot.
I know. Listen, I have like when I tell you I can manifest anything, I have like this
No, I can see it.
delusional
I can see
manifestation.
it with you and Robert Irwin. I'm like, it's already in my brain.
I'm like, listen,
I'm
we
so
both really care about the
excited. Invite me to the
environment. You've
wedding.
experienced, yeah, I was like, you've experienced public loss. I've experienced public loss. Um, so yeah, people were like, I was like, who should I work with? And people were like, and I'm moving to Australia. So people were like, Robert Irwin, Robert Irwin. I was
Oh my God.
like,
I'm so excited for you
so I'm excited to see where
guys.
that takes me. Thank you. I'm excited to see like who I meet, where that project takes me,
Yeah.
like, and just yeah, just get the word out. And I think people from I got really positive feedback. Like people were really excited because I want to, I've been given this platform, and it's like I don't want to just be like another girl on OnlyFans, like rolling around making money. Like I want to do something really good with it. And this has always been at this has always been at my core. Like there's nothing wrong with doing OnlyFans. Like go make your money, but at my core, like this is the person I've always been, and this is what I've always wanted to do in life. Like I had this nerdy thing in high school where I was like, I'm gonna save the ocean. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, oh, if it starts coming into this way, I'm like, I'm really happy with that. So
That's
we'll see where that
awesome.
goes.
That's so
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's really exciting. Well, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure. And
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.